Neverending Chain by Dragon Translator. Chapter 172. Explanations, Part 1. Hiccup hugged Shadowfire's muzzle again. He allowed his alpha magic to surge. Shadowfire cooed. Hiccup felt Astrid's hand placed upon his right arm. She lifted it and placed it around her shoulders, and her left hand circled around Hiccup's waist. Her right arm enclosed Shadowfire into an embrace. "I forgive you too," Astrid whispered. He watched the silver eyes close, and the dragon go boneless, slumping against the ground, though he kept his muzzle tight against them. Hiccup smiled as Astrid laid her cheek against the ridge of scales over Shadowfire's eyes. Hiccup followed suit, laying his cheek against the ridge on the other side. "Thank you," Shadowfire whispered. Hiccup's head jerked at the sound of a dragon growling. He glanced around, finding none of his dragons making the noise. They all landed as they were able to near Shadowfire, and were laying their heads against him, even Toothless's boys. All were purring as well. Their riders were standing beside their dragons, hands placed upon Shadowfire's scales. Hiccup caught Snotlout's eye. The teen gave a half shrug, but made the hand signal for later with his other hand. Hiccup tipped his head, and then looked around again for the growl. "Whoa!" he cried, causing everyone to look up at him. The alpha pair were hovering in front of the other fury. Both had their teeth bared and sensing lobes lying flat against their skulls. Spitfire and Hazia hovered to either side of them, while Shadowwing stood between Hiccup and his group and the edge of the dragons hovering off to. The hatchling laid at his father's paws, glancing around with wide eyes. He turned at Hiccup's call, and Wobble walked closer. Hiccup extracted himself from the group and scooped up the hatchling. Shadowwing spared a glance over his wing. When he saw his son in Hiccup's arms, his wing flared, and he joined his mate in the air.
"You could have killed my sons,"
Toothless's father snarled. The other fury lowered his head.
"Hiccup had to learn to trust his soul. He cannot learn what the Waygard is here to teach him, if he does not."
"And your solution was to attack him and his brother in the air?" Toothless's mother growled. Hiccup moved closer, keeping his hatchling tight to his chest.
"What do you mean, trust my soul?"
he asked. The other fury looked down, and Hiccup saw a peculiar shine in the dragon's eyes. A look that was part longing, part sad, and part proud, all mixed together.
"There is a power woven into your soul, Hiccup. You have to trust it. All of it. My attack was to get you to fully reach out to Toothless."
"Why don't we return to the nest and discuss this?" Toothless suggested, "so that everyone can be on solid ground." His father grunted.
"Go."
Toothless lowered his head, offering his back to Hiccup. Hiccup looked up to Shadowwing. "You carry him, brother," Shadowwing said. Hiccup blinked, but did not protest. He was enjoying holding the hatchling. That being part an alpha, he greatly loved. The young of the nest always brought smiles to his face. He moved to Toothless's side and felt a hand upon his arm. He glanced over, finding Astrid standing there. She held out her hands, and he shifted the hatchling over to her. He smiled at her and then slipped into the saddle. Once he was settled, Astrid handed him back the hatchling. The little dragon cooed and yawned before curling against Hiccup's belly. Hiccup heard soft snores and heard Astrid snicker softly. She gripped his arm, staring at him for a heartbeat before kissing his cheek and moving away from his line of sight. Soon they were in the air and heading back to the nest. Once there, they went straight to the royal chambers. Hiccup, having seen Shadowfire fly slightly away from the group, gestured for the western dragon to lie down in the middle of the room. Hiccup then purposefully sat down by Shadowfire's elbow and leaned against the dragon's side. Astrid and the rest of the humans all sat down to either side of Hiccup, leaning against Shadowfire as well. Hiccup smiled when the Burkian dragons closed in around the Shadowfire, and laid down with some part of themselves, be it a wing or a tail, touching the western dragon.
"The Alpha's forgiveness is absolute," Sunburn whispered,
as she and the other furies sat down next to Meatlug. Said Grunkle sat between Shadowfire's forelegs, though she faced the group.
"Yes,"
Toothless's father said, as he, his mate, Spitfire, Shadowwing, and Hazia completed the circle.
"And I am proud of you, Hiccup, for forgiving your nestmate.
Toothless's father looked to the other Fury.
Now explain what caused you to think that stunt was the right call.
The other Fury sighed.
The way God needs to be here for the whole story. He said, Shadewing.
Said dragon spun out of the circle and bounded out of the corridors. Hiccup took that moment to catch Hazia's eyes and point to the hatchling still sleeping in his lap. She shook her head. He is fine, brother, so long as you don't mind.
I don't, Hiccup whispered. I love holding hatchlings.
He caught that gleam in the other Fury's eyes, but it was gone as soon as the dragon shook himself. Sunburn stared at her friend, and Hiccup saw concern in the eye he could see. Before he could ask, Shadewing bounded back into the chamber, and Hiccup's eyes widened as the dragon following him. Easily as tall as Shadowfire, the solid white dragon had milky white eyes, and looked as if it had stones for a hide. Its white wings were used as walking aids, much like the nightmares did. It also walked as if its legs plopping in and out of contact with its body. Its head even moved with the same popping motion. Hiccup then saw all the Night Fury's sensing lobes lift straight. Toothless's father looked over his wing.
He attacked my sons, and you must be here for the explanation.
Hiccup blinked. That sounded like a response to some question Hiccup did not even know existed. Toothless's father snorted.
Yes, I know. Now explain.
The Alpha added, swinging his gaze back to the other Fury. The other dragon sighed. A plan has always been set for humans and dragons. It was put into effect at the founding of the world. Unfortunately, dragons began to believe themselves superior to that plan, and the humans they were supposed to be working with. Such beliefs escalated until massive alpha species pitted their nests against each other. The days of chaos, Hiccup said, catching the white dragon shifting with that same popping motion, and staring at him. The head elder of an illusion scale nest mine is allied with told me that. Correct, Sunburn said. Sadly, it took far too long for something to change. Toothless's ancestor, Fishleg stated. He told us that tale.
Quite, the other Fury said. Despite what the tale tells, they were not the first humans and dragons to bond. There were others before the days of chaos. Arrogance destroyed them and the bond they created. Love restored everything. So the common tongue and the rider's bond happened before Toothless's ancestor met that human mage? Hiccup asked. No, Sunburn said. The bond created before the days of chaos was just the bond one forms with nestmates, and such can be easily shattered if the right pressure is placed upon them. It took the magic in the mage, and the magic all the dragons possess, to weave that bond into a solid cord, the Fury said, his eyes closed and his muzzle lowered. But, Hiccup began, how does a breath attack make this bond that strong? The Fury lifted his head. Dragons hold far more magic than our breath attacks. Sadly, the days of chaos caused us to forget or lose that fact. Aunt always said differently, Toothless has said. She told us all that a dragon's only magic was the breath attack they used, and everything else was just how we were made. Hiccup saw the other Fury flinch as if Stoic had levelled a punch to his head. Sunburn nuzzled the other dragon, cooing. She's wrong, the other Fury whispered, and I am a fool for not making sure she told the truth. She had guided the nest wrong, and I was not there to stop it. Wait, Fishleg said. You act as if you could have stopped her. You're just a visitor trusted by the Alpha, right? No, the Fury said, and Hiccup's eyes widened as the dragon stood to his paws. The spikes upon his back split, and a blue hue radiated from all of them, even the ones on his head. I am her father, and I am the dragon in that tale all nests give. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed this one. Ho ho, Lord Dumpan plot twist! Ho ho, I'm enjoying this. I love how they're all coming together around Shadowfire as well. And I like that also Haze, Zia and Shadewing are all calling Hiccup brother. They're just like, you are one of us now. Deal with it. And him just cuddling the baby. Aww. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night or whatever time zone you're in.
Bye, my guys, gals, and albino pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.